Hey everyone, so BYD just dropped something that's got the luxury MPV world sitting up and taking notice. And honestly, I think Mercedes and Toyota might be looking over their shoulders right now because the BYD M9 is here and it's coming in hot with a price tag that's going to make you do a double take-so. First things first, the M9 is basically BYD's export version of the Sha that's been selling in China since January. And they're rolling it out globally, starting with Mexico, where it just launched at around $52,000. But here's the kicker. In China, this thing starts at just under 35 grand, which is literally a third of what you'd pay for a Toyota Alphard or a Mercedes V-Class. And we're talking about a vehicle that's almost identical in size and loaded with tech. Let me paint you a picture of what we're dealing with here. The M9 measures over 5 meters long with a wheelbase just over 3 meters, which puts it right there with the big boys in the full-size MPV segment. It's rocking BYD's dragon face design language, which gives it this really commanding presence up front with a massive grille and these slim angular headlights that look pretty sharp, honestly. The side profile is clean with those sliding rear doors that are basically essential for any family hauler. And around back, you've got this full-width taillight design that's very on-trend, right? Now let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where BYD is really flexing their hybrid technology muscles. The M9 comes with BYD's 5th generation DM-i plug-in hybrid system, and it's honestly impressive. You've got a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine making 115 kilowatts paired with a 200 kilowatt electric motor. And BYD gives you 2 battery options, either a 20.4 kilowatt-hour pack that'll give you about 100 kilometers of pure electric range, or you can go with the bigger 36.6 kilowatt-hour battery that bumps that up to 180 kilometers on electric alone. And here's what's wild. The total combined range is up to 945 kilometers, which is nearly 600 miles on a single tank and charge. So you could literally drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco and back without stopping for fuel performance-wise. It's not trying to be a sports car. This is a family MPV after all, but it'll do 0 to 100 in 8.1 seconds, which is perfectly adequate for what it is. And more importantly, the transition between electric and hybrid mode is apparently seamless. Reviewers who've driven it say you barely notice when the engine kicks in. And in city driving, you're mostly running on electric power anyway, which keeps things quiet and smooth. Fuel economy comes in around 5.9 to 6.2 liters per 100 kilometers when you're in hybrid mode, which is really efficient for a vehicle this size. But let's get inside, because this is where the M9 really tries to compete with the luxury players. You've got a 7-seat configuration laid out in that popular 2-2-3 arrangement. And those second-row captain's chairs are where BYD is really putting the emphasis. We're talking ventilation, heating, leg rest, tray tables, and they recline almost flat for long journeys. It's clearly designed with Chinese executive transportation in mind. But honestly, any family would appreciate that level of comfort on road trips. Up front, you've got this triple-screen setup that looks properly high-tech. There's a 15.6-inch rotating center touchscreen, a 12.3-inch driver display, and another 12.3-inch screen for the front passenger, all running BYD's D-Link infotainment system, which apparently runs pretty smoothly with navigation, media, and various apps. And you've got BYD's DiPilot assistance system, which is their level 2 autonomous driving tech with features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, automatic parking, and highway navigation assist. Now let's talk about how this stacks up against what BYD's been doing lately. If you've been following BYD, you know they've been absolutely crushing it with their plug-in hybrid technology across the lineup. The M9 uses the same 5th generation DM-i system that's in vehicles like the Seal and the Shark pickup. And what's interesting is that BYD also makes the Denza D9, which is their premium sub-brand's luxury MPV. The M9 is basically the more affordable mainstream version of that. It's got similar styling, similar size, But the D9 is fully electric and positioned as the luxury option, while the M9 comes in as the practical plug-in hybrid alternative. What's really interesting about BYD's strategy here is that they're not trying to out-luxury the established players. They're going for that sweet spot of being really well-equipped and tech-forward while undercutting everyone on price. I mean, when you can potentially offer something that competes with a $100,000 Alphard for a third of the price, that's going to turn heads, especially in markets like Southeast Asia, Latin America, and potentially even parts of Europe where brand loyalty isn't quite as entrenched as it is in some other markets. The M9 has already been registered for design protection in places like Indonesia and South Africa, which tells us BYD is planning a pretty wide rollout. And considering they sold nearly 15,000 units in China in just the first 5 months of this year, there's clearly demand for this segment when you price it right. Mexico just got their launch with 500 units initially, and they're probably going to scale up from there. So, what does this mean for the competition? Well, if you're Mercedes or Toyota or even Chrysler with the Pacifica, you've got to be paying attention because BYD is coming in with a product that on paper matches you on size and features, offers way better fuel economy and electric range, and costs dramatically less. Sure, the established brands have their dealer networks and brand prestige and resale value arguments, but BYD is building out their infrastructure fast, and for a lot of buyers, especially in emerging markets, the value proposition is going to be really compelling. The big question is whether BYD can maintain quality and reliability as they scale up globally, and whether Western markets will be receptive given all the geopolitical stuff with Chinese automakers. But in markets where they're already established or where people are more open to Chinese brands, the M9 could genuinely shake things up in the MPV segment. Bottom line, if you're in the market for a full-size MPV and you want plug-in hybrid efficiency, serious electric range, modern tech, and competitive pricing, the BYD M9 is definitely worth keeping on your radar. It might not have the badge prestige of a Mercedes or the legendary reliability reputation of a Toyota, but it's offering a really compelling package that could make a lot of buyers think twice about paying premium prices for traditional options. And that's exactly the kind of disruption that keeps this industry interesting. So that's the BYD M9. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you consider one of these over an Alphard or a V-Class if the price is right? And if you want to see more coverage of Chinese EVs and hybrids that are shaking up the global market, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got a lot more coming your way.